at the beginning of the first hour, I told you that we were going to have a very special guest, surprise guest, and he is here. Right. And you all know him as Federal Jack, but he goes by Popeye. How you doing?
Hi, Doc. How are you?
I'm okay. And I wanted...
How have you been? How are you two doing? You guys having a good show so far today?
Yeah, it's doing fine. We always have a good time.
I'm a little bit tired. It's getting hot, and it always kind of makes me feel slow.
That and the fight, constant fight we're on, the war that is on and on and on, and it doesn't ease off, and has been 3 years, basically, of tormenting us by the system. They've always been bothering the corporation and the major member of the corporation for years, but the last 3 years have been a vicious war, really tormenting people.
But that's why you started the radio show, isn't it?
Right. That was the reason why I started the radio show, because nobody wanted to interview me. Nobody wanted to write an article about what was going on, and nobody wanted to do anything. And the only way we could put out our side of the story was with a radio show. That's why I started it, not because, I wanted to hear my voice. Actually, I don't like to hear my voice. But anyway, and what I wanted to, I brought Popeye in because he's the first person in a long time that has actually done something to help us expose what is going on. And I really wanted to thank him, and it's really great that at least somebody is doing something to help us, because we have been tormented for years without any help. So we really appreciate it, and any help we can get, we appreciate it. And he's the one that started it, so...
Yeah, I read it too. That's a great article, Pop. That's a great article.
And it's viral. It's all over the internet. It's
I know.
It's linked on activist posts. It's linked up on We Are Change, the Intel Hub. So, I mean, thousands upon thousands of people have been able to see it and been exposed to what you guys have been going through. So, I don't like...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut.
No, it's okay. I don't like when people get, picked on or anything like that without any, I don't like to see people get, just pounded on by multiple trolls without having any backup.
And it's really not even multiple so much. It's only like really 3 people at the core of it.
They make it sound.
That's the sad part. They get paid big bucks to be, for lack of a better term, douchebags to people that are actually trying to do the right thing. And who do you think pays them?
That's the big question. But,
the drug companies?
Yeah, probably Big Pharma.
Because those are the ones that stand to lose. See, even though they produce. I was telling Dogboy that if somebody was to call me and say, hey, that fella down the street from you, here we need you to help us to create some problems for him, because here's what we think we know about this person that lives down your block. If that phone call didn't begin with, do you want to help defend your country? Would you like to make some extra money? Then I would have already hung up on this crazy. Yeah, but you mentioned the word money. They're paying them, and they've been paying them. And when you talk about money, people do it for money.
But even if they're not paying them, you know what? That just shows that there's little Stasi-esque people out there. And that shows that these people are lower than crap. Because what kind of human being is going to go willingly stalk his next-door neighbor without even having any fundamental idea as to what he's doing or why he's doing it, or he or she? It's just that.
And is it true? Just because somebody say they're doing this, is it true?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What kind of mindset is that the person doesn't even bother to go do any sort of research? They just go and I'll be a good citizen. I'll be a good citizen. That just shows you that those people are so mentally inferior. You're mental infants. And I'm not picking on the people. It's just very sad that that's the level that you're at, that you don't even bother to, you just, somebody in a, it's like that old experiment. You dress up in a suit and put on glasses, and Luke Rudowski just did this. He walked around the subways. And he made himself look like an official, you know, like somebody, not with any badge or anything. He just put on a suit, sunglasses, and a little earpiece. And because he looked official, people were listening to him and giving him information and stuff and talking to him like he was some sort of agent. You know what I mean? It's just...
I know what you're talking about. That's the video with the Men in Black character.
Yeah, it's incredible.
We are changed.
People people went up to him, or he went up to people, and they would talk to him and give him info based upon the fact that he looked official. He didn't even whip out a badge or anything. He never said, I'm from the government, just because of how he dressed and people perceived him.
Need to see that ID before you can get a Big Mac.
Incredible. So that's the level that we're at. So I saw what you guys were going through, and I was like, all right, this is obviously a professional troll operation, and you guys didn't have any backup. You guys didn't really have anybody to look into this and see what was going on and kind of expose it to the world. So I decided to help you.
Dog Boy has told me that he has tried ever since last April to he's been approaching different people with talk shows and things like that of that nature, trying to get somebody, or bigger websites, you know, to get somebody to write an article about what's been going on, and he hasn't, and that's where we all owe you a big debt of gratitude.
You don't owe me anything. That's my job. See,
we appreciate it.
My website and my show is to bring to light things that nobody else talks about, things that people might find taboo. Maybe people just don't want to talk about it for whatever their own reasons are. That's why I do my radio show. That's why I have my website. So you guys don't owe me any thanks. I mean, you guys have been through hell. The least you guys could do is have some sort of backup. It sucks to not have, be out there catching fire and not have anybody to back you up. So I've been there myself. I know how it is. So you guys don't have to think. It's all good.
The thing is amazing, though, is that, what was it? You hardly put out that article and the troll were already jumping on it?
Oh, yeah. The article was out like 12 hours, and one of your regular trolls tried to hop on it and tried to post things. But see, the difference is between me and other webmasters, I see every comment that goes on my site. And I will, even if it's up there for a day or two, I eventually find it, and I weed through everything. And if it's negative, or if it's trollish, or if it's people spamming stuff, it gets removed automatically. I don't have time for that crap. And I've had people complain to me, oh, why'd you take my comment off? Well, because you're being an idiot, and I don't have time for that. I understand the bigger picture. I'm not going to get mired down in this little troll crap. And trolls don't like me, Doc. They come on my show, and I break out what I call my big, shiny ban hammer. It's nice and shiny, and it's got green troll blood all over it.
Here you go.
This is a lie. Dr. Carpenter feeds off of her patient's fears. She also uses a form of spiritual bondage. A form of spiritual bondage. A form of spiritual bondage.
Mind control. Repetition is the first and greatest form of mind control. Is repetition, repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And that was the troll, by the way. I think that left the comment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's the same one.
That you just heard. Yeah,
she's the one who made that video.
Honestly, you guys should take it. You guys should take like pride in the fact that somebody actually wastes this much time on you.
Well, she was paid. She didn't waste time. She's a professional provocateur.
Well, what I'm saying is for somebody to pay her, you guys must be hitting a nerve somewhere. So you should take pride in the fact that you're doing something right, because obviously if you have them coming at you the level that they are, you're pissing in someone's cornflakes. And because that takes money to pay for that stuff. This isn't cheap. So you guys are definitely obviously you're doing the right thing, Doc, because if you weren't, they wouldn't come after you.
They wouldn't care it's what I'm always saying. That should tell people, obviously this method works, otherwise they wouldn't put out all that effort to criticize it. Don't you think?
Oh, I'm hearing bumpers.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we are back. And we still have a Popeye with us. And one thing I wanted to ask him. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask him. Why did they give him that nickname? Because he has big forearms, or because he's just like Popeye in the cartoon, stands for the underdogs and helping people? Which one is?
Where I got the nickname from, because growing up, I used to. Most of my friends I actually became friends with because they were picked on by people or whatever, and I would see them getting picked on, and I didn't. I just, from the time I was little, I had this in me that I don't like bullies. I can't stand them. So I would beat up the bully.
Yeah.
I was like the bully to the bully.
Free speech guaranteed.
So that's why they
You're
call you
listening to
Papa.
the Orion
I
Talk
got it at a
Radio
very young
Network.
age, and it's just stuck with me through my whole life.
I was also trying to help kids that were picked on, but I was a little kid. I was very skinny and a girl, so it wasn't, but I was always standing up, helping people. In fact, it was this little boy in the play yard that was picked on all the time, and I was always there trying to help him. And he said, so that's your younger brother? No, he isn't. I didn't even know who he was. But, you can't let people do that. It's just, and now, I'm picked on. Yeah, and it just, people don't think, just because they go see a doctor and the doctor says, oh, that doesn't work. Why? Because it can't work. It doesn't make any sense. And they believe that? Gee, do you go to the Coca-Cola company and ask if Pepsi Cola is any good?
Exactly. Most of these doctors don't even know what they're talking about. David Icke came up with a good term for them, for the politicians, the doctors, and for the reporters. But in this case, we can use it to refer to the doctors. He calls them repeaters because they really don't learn anything. They go to school, they're indoctrinated, and they repeat what they're taught. They don't really educate themselves or research or think for themselves. They just repeat what they regurgitate basically what they've been told. And a lot of these doctors are bought off by these big pharma companies. It's come out. Or the companies that make the fake joints and stuff like that. All of that.
Yeah, because the real money doesn't come for the office visit. It comes from the prescription they give you. That's where the money comes from. And people don't seem to figure that one out. I just don't understand that. I don't. If somebody's telling you, well, this will help you. This is poison, but it will save your life. And then you have to take it for the rest of your life. You have to take poison all the time, and then you'll be okay?
And this grows on a bush all over the world, and it could be free, but it's illegal, and it will always be illegal.
Yeah, but that is mostly for controlling the pain and everything. But no, you have to take painkillers, expensive painkillers that dope you up, and you don't know what the heck.
Destroy your body and do all sorts of horrible damage. As a vet, I can tell you, I've seen it. The VA, even in states where medical marijuana is legal, they rag on people that veterans that are using it, and they say, well, the VA doesn't, subscribe to that. Now they've backed off, but for years they would go after vets and take away their benefits and not give them medication and stuff.
Just a week ago, there was maybe a couple of weeks ago, there was a story about a transplant, a guy that was on the list for a major transplant, and he got denied because they found evidence that he was using medical MJ.
Well, and you want to know, this goes beyond marijuana, because what happens is if they find out that a cancer patient has gone somewhere else, and heaven forbid they came to us, they will kill him rather than let him live as a proof that what we did worked. And what they use is morphine. Morphine is used not just for patients that come to us. Morphine is used as making the patient or whatever thing they have comfortable. And they kill him. A person goes in, is walking, is capable of functioning on his own, goes into the final care, whatever you want to call it, hospice care, but it's really end-of-life care. They go in a week they're dead. That couldn't happen. That couldn't happen. It's the morphine that kills them, and they said, okay, they died, or whatever they had. They were killed. They use morphine to kill patients. Get rid of them and eliminate the problem. And they use it on...
Compassionate euthanasia.
Yeah, but they do it to patients that are not going to die. They just want to eliminate them. They're doing it.
And it's weird because, like, my mother, she died of lung cancer 8 years ago, and I had a fight with the doctor to even give her morphine because they wouldn't give her... this one doctor, he was about as compassionate as my left foot. My mother asked him a simple question, and the guy started getting all long-winded and everything, and it was pretty much just she just needed a little bit of a security blanket, you know, as it were. That's all she needed, was just him, and he should have known that. And he was being an idiot, and I leaned across the bed, and I got nose to nose with him right in the hospital, and I just nodded my head, and I was like, I think she just, you know, wants to hear, yes, doc, right? Because she was dying. We all knew she was dying. There was nothing they could do to save her. So it was just, these doctors, a lot of them, they have the bedside manner of, you know, a shoe. They have no personality. They don't care. It's all about money.
Yeah, they don't care. Well, why else? See, usually they stay and talk to you for about 5 minutes, and that's it, and then you start chemo. Well, if they have a patient that they realize is reluctant, doesn't want to do that, wants to go somewhere else, then they spend 20 minutes to talk to them to convince them that what they offer is the best route. And if the patient doesn't agree, they had a hissy fit and they leave the room in a huff. That should not be allowed. And I've heard a lot of patients telling me that's what happens. But now they're using morphine for everything just to kill people. Oh, we want to eliminate this person for whatever reason. And I know they've done it to a good number of my patients that were not going to die. They didn't have it. They just had some discomfort during the healing process, normal healing immune system response. And they kill them. So they play God. They play God in everything.
That's why they sent the military over to Afghanistan, you know.
What, to kill cancer patients?
No, to get opiates.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Oh yeah, heroin trade. A lot of the heroin that they get out of there. The deal was they allow them to grow the heroin or the opium, and they use it. So instead of selling it and making heroin out of it, they sell it to the drug companies, and the drug companies make morphine out of it. I couldn't make this up. They have guys getting shot at and blown up guarding poppy fields, which will later be turned into the morphine, which they will be given at the VA for the pain of their missing leg.
Oh, God.
And you know what morphine does? See, the problem with morphine is it's not just a painkiller. Morphine, you get used to it, lowers your resistance to pain, so they have to give you more and more till you die. And morphine stops your heart from beating if you give it a certain amount of morphine.
Because you get too much, it's like an overdose.
Yeah, you die, the heart stops, the lungs cannot take in air anymore, and they tell you died or whatever you had, but actually you were killed with morphine. And
there's no way to tell from the raw product that's being exported from these poppy fields how much of it is going to go illicit, how much of it is going to go medical.
Oh, well, of course. But even if it didn't go, even if not 1 ounce of it went to illicit drugs, which we know is not true because a lot of it's going over the border into Russia. But even if not 1 ounce of it was illicit, who's making the money off of all those poppies? Big Pharma.
Exactly.
Oh, we got another break.
It's going too fast.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
Free speech guaranteed. You're listening to the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Well, that testify only means you're allowed to testify if you're saying what we want to hear. Otherwise, that's acting the jury.
My favorite bumper, though.
Right.
That's my favorite of all bumpers.
Yeah, because if you say something we don't want you to say, then is having an influence on the jury that we cannot allow, right?
Especially you try to protest within so many feet of an event happening, you know, or an important person being in the area.
Or anything.
Hey, I want to hear something from Popeye because he brought something up that it just totally threw me for a loop while we were off the air, and I didn't know about this. And well, go ahead, Popeye. Just tell everybody what you told us.
Well, yesterday Obama released a new executive order, and it's up on whitehouse.gov, but I have it reposted at federaljack.com. under the title. It's a little more catchy and truthful. Instead of their title is Executive Order, National Defense Resources Preparedness. Sounds all official. I gave it the proper title, which is Obama issues executive order declaring peacetime martial law, bypasses Congress, and takes over all resources. Which
all resources.
All of them. Water, food, labor, specifically everything. This thing is so huge, it's broken down into different parts. And you'll see, like, the Secretary of Defense is in control of all water in the United States. All of it. Rainwater you collect in a bucket, he's in control of it. You have a drop of water in your sink, you better be prepared. You might get SWAT teamed for that drop of water. I'm not kidding. I mean, this is just getting out of control.
That's unreal.
And the worst part is human labor. You can be conscripted as part of this. This thing is so huge. We're doing a special podcast on this later, actually. Myself and Joe Joseph and Tim Watts. The three of us are hosts here on Orion as well. And I happened to be on the phone with them earlier discussing this. And the three of us were just flabbergasted when we found this. Because we all kind of found it at the same time. And it was almost like a dark comedy where we all called each other at the same time. And we were all like, did you see this? Unbelievable. And it's just... It really is flabbergasting. I don't know.
That's why 10, 20 years ago, the word personnel office in most corporations changed to human resources, because we are a resource, and they've been gradually bringing us into that. That's unreal to me, though, because I mean, what kind of conscripted labor are we talking about? Like building a huge pyramid with a great big eye at the top of it?
I'll read you two of their little things from the labor requirements. Check this out. 1, collect and maintain data necessary to make a continuing appraisal of the nation's workforce needs for purposes of national defense. So they want a database of all the workers, of everybody in it, so they can decide who's good for what. And here's the second thing. Upon request by the Director of Selective Service, and in coordination with the Secretary of Defense, assist the Director of Selective Service in development of policies regulating the induction and deferment of persons for duty in the armed services.
Reinstate the draft, in a way.
110%. They have to. Their volunteer army has been, and Marine Corps and Navy and Air Force and Coast Guard has been pushed to its limits.
Well, what was it I heard just last night on, not even in your show, I was listening, or a couple of different shows, that somebody brought up that if they had reinstated the draft, the war in the Middle East would have... Oh,
yeah, I said that last night. Quick. Yeah.
That was
Charlie,
you?
Yeah, Charlie.
If they reinstated the draft, what? What did you
The war would have been over with.
If they had reinstated the draft, the war would be over in like 2 weeks, because...
I know.
Not for any other reason other than everybody would be suddenly eligible. Now that women can serve, it would be more than 50. See, back in Vietnam, it was 50%, because it was around 50% because you had to factor the fact that women weren't getting the draft notices, only men were. But now it would be over 50%. So you'd have more than 50% of the population being eligible to be drafted for BS wars around the world, as opposed to half of 1% right now that volunteer to actually serve.
And how they're going to pay all that personnel is nobody's left at home to make money.
Well, that's why they're going to conscript everybody, so that way they have to drag everybody, they have to force you to serve. And that would cause...
But what I'm saying is, if you force them to serve, the government has to pay them to be at war. And who's making the money to pay taxes?
Oh, but they won't pay them. It's an executive order. You must do it.
Yeah,
it's
but
for the national defense of the country now. So I guess to be a good citizen, Doc, you must be a slave.
So how do we defend the country against these a-holes?
Yeah, but come on, you still have to pay them, because if they are there is a general conscription and they have to go into the military and serve, they have to be paid. I don't know how well they're paid, but they still have to pay them. And if no one is left in the country to work and pay taxes, the country's going to go down the tube. That's completely stupid. Of course, that wouldn't surprise me if they did it, but it's totally stupid. It's just like a medical, okay? They want everybody on medication. They want everybody sick. And then who's going to be working and paying taxes? No one. They just don't think. That is what I call the isolation.
Well, it goes along with their agenda because at the end of the day, it's really to kill off 80% of us. So it doesn't matter what means they do it through.
But then who's making the money for them? There is no longer slavery. They don't have slaves anymore because
it's not even about the money anymore. They have so much money, Doc. They could buy and sell God if they wanted to.
They are doing that already in the churches, buying itself.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I've even heard that a lot of the debts, that the human beings of the United States has nothing else left to barter, and the human beings are actually the collateral.
Yeah, but see, no, that's not. But what I am saying here is it's the same story of that I call it the isolated system syndrome. They make a decision because they think this is convenient to them, and they think at the superficial appearance of what they decided. They don't really look at it. They are not having the full picture. They do not consider that as part of a whole, and they are incapable of deductive reasoning, and they can't think of the effect of what that decision can have. And that's real stupidity. That's why everything will blows up in their faces.
Either stupidity or pure evil.
Yeah. It's just stupidity. I've seen it so many times. They just don't think. It's just the same with the medical. They don't think. It's the skid mark thing, right?
Well, disease wrecks are caused by skid marks.
Car wrecks are caused by skid marks. Not the skid mark is...
Because you always see a skid mark at the scene of a wreck.
What do you think of that, huh?
Well, honestly, I used to do towing and stuff back in the day, and accidents like that, or even skid marks and stuff, do cause accidents a lot of the times, ironically, because people are too busy paying attention to the damage to the guardrails to be paying attention to the car in front of them, and they smash right into the guy.
Well, they caused the chain accident, but the original accident is now... I don't know if you ever saw it. This was a video created by two people that I can't stand. It was shown at a Marcola website, and it was from Mike Adams. Two people that are certainly not somebody I can stand, and they're not. They're lying to the public, too. But that video was really interesting because basically the idea is you make everybody sick. Who's going to have money for you? And they are looking at the consequences of what they do as the cause.
Funny thing about Mercola, though, is about 3 or 4 years ago, he wrote an article that mentioned Kanzius, Reif, Brzezinski, and Case, and had a little paragraph in there on you. And
I know, but then he changed.
Dogboy actually approached him to see if he might be able to write an article on what happened to Dr. C, a couple of years last year ago. No reply, no nothing.
Yeah. So, but you know what he's doing. He's giving you a little piece of truth to push what he has for his own interest. That's all. But anyway, all of this is telling you just one thing. A peaceful revolution, I don't think, is going to lead to anything. We need to get serious here. Well, we're back from the break again. And where we're at here, before we got into the politics side, we were talking about the article that is on Federal Jack, and then it made the round in other locations, and the one that started the additional resentment from the trolls. But
it started some traffic too. Started some traffic too. I was going to say it's already on page 1 of Google when you search the name Antonella Carpenter, which is considering the boat that you've been
garbage that is.
and on the search engines, yes, that is a very good sign. It's a very good sign, and I want to stress it as much as possible. People, please go check out this article, read it, spread it, share it, because it's on Popeye's website, and it's also on change.org. If you go to change.org, even, you can see.
We are the change, not change.org. We are change.org.
And another thing I wanted to mention, because I saw a video that Popeye put out about a week ago, talking about how some of his website viewers are being basically disallowed from viewing his content. And I noticed when I was on Google and I saw that, his article on page 1. I mean, it's near the bottom of page 1, but still, that for 3 days, that is very, very impressive. And it, when I clicked on the link, I instantly got up this warning, this is not a trusted website. And
are you kidding?
Yes, I'm telling you the truth. Because he had told me that, because I believe Dogboy even mentioned it to me a couple of months ago, that he clicked on one of Popeye's links that was on Facebook, and he got a warning, a suspicious page warning. It doesn't block you from seeing it, but it basically throws up a gateway to scare you, to say, better be careful, better be careful.
Yep.
This is the enemy
you might
combatant.
find out something, right?
They're doing it to a lot of alternative news media websites. Actually, last November, Activist Post wrote an article because one of their readers emailed them and said, "Hey, I thought you guys, would want to know that I tried getting to your website, InfoWars, and Federal Jack, and I couldn't get to either of the three from the free computers in the hotel lobby of the Sheraton Hotel that he was staying at." So.
Blocked.
Yeah, it was blocked by their filter. And I forget the name of the program that they use, but it's a simple program you can buy, and you put in keywords or websites, and it'll block people from going there. Period. Done. Can't do it.
They would have had to have know which ones and block him out. They would have had to do it though, right? And why would they want to do that?
Oh, I pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, but that.
I post a lot of stuff. Like I made a page exposing all the war crimes that were going on in Libya before any of it was coming out in the mainstream media at all, before even RT was talking about it. I got stuff from people on the ground in Libya via somebody else I know, and myself and one of my IT guys, we built a website called obamaslibya.com, and we posted these war crime videos, and they were horrific, beheadings and stuff, all done by Al-Qaeda in Libya that we were backing via NATO. And these were the rebels that we were such great freedom fighters that we were backing. And we were showing how they were rounding up black Africans and summarily executing them and all that screwed up things that they were doing. And we got blocked as soon as I made a page on Federal Jack where I posted all this stuff, plus other videos and still shots that I had. And then as RT and other people started to report on it, I pulled the reports. In fact, RT used my video footage, a couple of our videos that we had up, and I knew it was only us that had it up. Nobody else had it anywhere on the web. And they played it in some of their they blurred out some stuff, but they were playing it as like background stuff in a couple of their video reports. So I knew that it went viral. Plus the statistics on the website showed that it went nuts. It was seen by close to 1 million people. Just that one page alone. So we were finding, I noticed that it was getting blocked. I mean, everything was blocked on it. Even the statistics I have a little globe on the side of the site.
Yes, I was going to say, it's all glowing green.
And even that thing was getting, the links, the hits that I get for that page, for some reason, don't show up on there.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. And I've had people test it and try it. We've done it on days where it was if it was a slow day, if like a couple of times the server got attacked and we were down for 6 or 7 hours. So the first thing we would do when the server would came up, you have that time, you start pinging that page to see what happens. And I would call 4 or 5 people in different spots in the country. Go to the link, go check your email or go to your Skype, whatever, click the link, and they would be talking to me. Yeah, I'm on it right now, scrolling through it, blah, 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 and they wouldn't be pinging on the site.
Huh.
And the site would be backed up.
Because everybody, just about everybody on Orion now has that globe. Dr. C's got one on her page, too.
Yeah,
it's
mine
lit
is
up
not
as yours,
easy.
but it's there.
I've had mine up for only a little over a year, and I'm actually happy to say that in under a year I got over 1 million hits. So I just like it because it kind of gives you an idea of
Where is everybody?
Yeah, where people are coming from, where the reach that you have. It's really awesome. I like it. I think it's cool. Whoever came up with it.
When I went to check out the article, there were all these people showing all over the globe. The article that you wrote about us. And, and then there was actually Milan, Italy, also one location. So that was
your hometown.
It used to be, long time ago. Yeah. But
So
was nice.
somebody in your town, like right now, I'm looking at my website. There's someone in Cairo on, Helsinki, Dublin, Ireland, Bogota, Colombia, Boca Raton, Florida. I mean, the whole country, the United States is lit up like a Christmas tree. But Australia, it's neat because I know I'm having an effect. That's and people. That's why posting that article for you guys was effective, because people got to see the truth all over the world. I'm uncensored. That's why we get attacked and we get blocked like we do, because I don't censor the underdogs like other people do. I give them a chance to speak. If I think that they're credible and they have something good to say, I give them a spot to speak their mind. And people don't like that. People get all pissed off at me for that. But whatever. Freedom of speech, First Amendment, whatever.
Right.
They don't like it, too bad.
Yeah. I tell you, Skype is a great thing. That's how you guys made that article, isn't it? Talking on Skype and then making a recording and keeping all the notes. And man.
That's why Microsoft bought it, so that they could ruin it.
Yeah, well,
it works too efficient. Skype's too efficient. You can do too many things with it, so they have to ruin it.
Boy.
Is that going to affect anything?
There's been some things with Skype already, so I mean, not that they haven't rolled anything back, but I'm waiting to see if they're going to start saying, like right now, you can send files of any size peer to peer. It might take 20 hours to send the file, and you'd have to leave Skype open, but it'll do it. And I'm waiting to see Microsoft try to roll that back and chart, like you can only send 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabytes a month, and then after that you got to pay a certain amount. I'm waiting to see that.
Torrent fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is. Because they got to restrict the internet,
Yeah.
They're running out of room. I love that one. They're running out of room on the internet. Right. The internet's infinite, you liars.
How is it they're going to run out of room?
They're not. They say they are, and they run around pushing theme, and then, oh, my God.
Yeah, but with what justification they say they're running out of room?
Oh, well, first it started with we're running out of .com names, and then people were like, well, just get different names. And they were like, well, we're running out of numbers for the IP addresses. So then you just add you know what I mean? Like, there's always, you could modify it. Like, why you got to be...
That sounds like the end of the world on the year 2000, okay?
It's the same, exactly. It's the same thing. It's like the internet is like outer space. It's infinite.
Yeah.
You have more than enough room out there for everybody. So when people are like the internet is running out of room, they're lying.
I know. It's the universe.
Kind of like we're having a shortage of drugs, a shortage of generic drugs. So all we can sell is the high dollar name brands.
Well, the shortage is created because the small drug companies, they don't want to produce them. They don't bring in enough money that the other ones do. So they're not producing them. They're not making enough money. But I want to know how, because that guy was saying about taking a cocktail of Avastin and carboplatin, and they are... I'm pretty sure that even Avastin, the patent has expired, and they were still charging $22,000 per drip.
And there's an oil shortage, and you're sitting, Dr. C, you're sitting right on top of a huge reserve. All them earthquakes that you guys been having.
Well, that's because they use fracking, yeah.
Frackquakes, sorry.
Yeah. Man, that was not a good feeling. The whole upstairs shaking. I'm telling you, not the first one. The first one was annoying, but the second... Oh, we are the date. Oh, thanks, Jack. Popeye, thanks for being we are at the end of the hour. Can you believe that? Thank you for helping. Thank you for being a guest.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me on. It was awesome. Thank you.
It was great. Thanks.
Popeye.
Bye.
Thanks.
And everybody had a good weekend. Don't get too drunk with the celebration of green